The creation of open source games. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about why and how we do the open source projects that we do at GDQuest, how we manage to work full-time on them as well. And this is a presentation I made for an event in Osaka, Japan, a game dev meetup. But that said, let us get started. So Game Design Quest is a company, yes, but it's also a project, and our mission is to bring people together to become better game developers. We try to teach the techniques that you need and at least give you some tools as a game developer to professionalize yourself, to get to the next level. To achieve that, we create tutorials on the channel, but we also release a lot of our code for free. So we make game demos, but also tools and code that you can reuse even in commercial projects. Now it is my full-time job. We are a team with me full-time, a few other persons part-time at the moment, but we're looking to change that. We make a lot of free content, over 50% of our work, really. This includes tutorials on the channel, but also things you might not always see, like contributions to free software, communication around free software, sharing the word in events. Often I get the question, but how do you make money? How does that even work? It's impossible. First, I should say that I chose this model because I was not in there for the money, and that's still the case. We are operating more like a non-profit, but being young and alone creating GDQuest, making a company was a lot easier, and you have fewer constraints compared to creating a foundation where you need to be several persons, and in terms of administrative work it can be pretty hard. So we don't make a ton of money, obviously, but enough to work full-time to make a decent living and to work independently on the projects that we love. Why does that work? We are making work that we think matters to people who cares. There are people who are interested in supporting the kind of work that we make, and part of it is paid products to give people an incentive to support us during Kickstarters in particular. I think over time we've developed a good reputation and good relationship with the community that keeps growing, slowly but surely. You know, when you give something to people, they want to give back to you at some point. Natural, that's the way we work. Now, since October, we started working on open source game projects with the GDQuest community. So you've probably seen them. They're on the Kickstarter right now. We have the Zelda action RPG demo from the course, and we have 5 contributors on that one. We then went on to create OpenRPG, an RPG gameplay engine that has 12 contributors already, and some of the contributions are pretty big. Not only that, right now Razvan is remaking it. If we manage to start a project and be 10 contributors, imagine what it will be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. We're just getting started. We want to do more and more in the future. So why do we do that? One reason is that other people share as well. It's not a one-way relationship. Everyone that contributes to the project gets to share everything they know. And if you go around big repositories, especially the Godot one, you will get experienced professionals to review your work and help you get started contributing to the code base. So you can learn a lot doing that. We all take turns being mentors and students at the same time. On OpenRPG, for instance, we have one contributor in particular who's been coding his own role-playing game and warned us about the things that would make our code a little tricky, or everything he tried that did not work, and this can save you a ton of time. Especially with GDQuest, people are kind to one another. I've become friends with a few of them, so you don't get too much of a hierarchy, even though, for example, when I take the role of the reviewer and maintainer, I might refuse some things and explain why, but the exchanges are kind overall. Now, why do people contribute? Well, they are interested in the project. Together, we can make something that's much bigger than everyone could individually. But on top of that, as a contributor, you get free training if you want, and professional experience working with a team, working with Git, working with the kinds of tools that can help you land a job in the end. If you're looking to become a professional developer, I think that contributing to open source software is a great way to land a job really quickly. Another reason why we work together on free software is that it allows us to write better code and better code bases. We are working on code guidelines now to assess the few issues we've had on OpenRPG, which was more of an experiment and a prototype that grew a lot bigger than planned at first. As you have people from all around the world working together, if you want these people to stay, you need to together write code that is easy to read, to understand, and to maintain. You have to write good code if you want the project to keep growing, and this is what we are trying to achieve. So on the right, you can see the new code guidelines that we are implementing right now. We are trying to keep the code organized, easy to read, documented, and decoupled. Another thing is that people will come, find bugs that you may not necessarily know about, and even patch them, which is really nice. They also add features that we've had contributors add lots of features that we didn't consider adding because we lacked the time or the resources to do so. And then we're also building up reusable tools and scripts that we can transfer from project to project. And because we're all doing that together, it's a lot faster than working alone as an indie. To create reusable tools that are productive, it's very important to have the people who can code the tools themselves, but also to have users who will help you refine the user experience, refine the workflow, and also point out bugs and report issues that they have. So how do we manage to get funded? Through crowdfunding, partly. We get some revenue from the sales of our products, a tiny bit of it from YouTube ads as well, and then a fair part of it, the projects get funded on Kickstarter for now. This works well for us because GDQuest is really community driven. Now we do that mix of offering free content and doing paid courses at the same time. And the paid course is an extra incentive and a very important one for people who support the project, especially people who can afford to buy the courses, fund free content for everyone else. When I was talking about the fact that we do 50% free content, the thing is that 50% is scaling with our revenue. So now we are multiple persons working on GDQuest. We are multiple persons working on that free content as well. Having analyzed how open source projects work and the amount of money they can get, especially old projects with a large user base, you will see that sometimes they make less money than we do on their crowdfunding campaigns. That's for a variety of reasons, but a very important one is that even with hundreds of thousands of users, people will not donate that much in the end. Like on our Kickstarters, I know that a lot of people would not pledge as much or not pledge at all if they weren't getting a premium course in exchange. Now here are a few tips if you want to do some crowdfunding or are looking for ways to fund community-driven projects. First, we do market studies, or at least I do, before the campaigns. I pretty much know that they will get funded long before I launch the project. I get in touch with people who might sponsor the crowdfundings we do. I have a rough idea of the minimum amount of users I will get to fund the campaign. So for this one, the goal of 14,000 euros is the money that I need to hire the people that I'm hiring for a certain amount of time. But I also knew that I can get 400, 500 persons to support the campaign. And so the rewards are also designed to allow us to reach these 14,000 euros with 400, 500 people. Now, just like with games, with any technology or with creative businesses in general, you have to offer a unique product or service. Courses that we make, the formula, the fact that we do 50% free content, this is all unique traits that we have. The fact that we focus on free software, and Godot in particular. We are the only team doing what we're doing the way we're doing it right now. And the last Kickstarter tip is you should really prepare communication and content in advance, and even long in advance. Doing all of that, we managed to get 3 crowdfunding campaigns funded in 1 to 4 days. I must say that you also need the budget to be realistic based on the amount of people who follow you, who are ready to support you financially. If you are Another way we manage to do it, this is more about the open source part, it's by empowering people, letting the contributors contribute ideas and shape the project. Not completely, you want to keep structure and to keep the intention and the goals well defined from the start, but you want to delegate some of the work to the contributors to let them own the tasks that they take on, suggest design, and then you can review their work. Anyway, you are free to accept it or not ultimately, but you really want to listen to people and to the community. So also one reason it works is that we get people from all around the world with different experiences, with different backgrounds. And I try to take every person bringing new ideas, new ways to code, new workflows as an opportunity to learn new workflows and techniques. You just be open to other people's knowledge and try to take every interaction as an opportunity to learn something, whether people are more experienced than you in a given field, or even if are less experienced than you on the topic at hand. You can always learn from pretty much everyone. Another thing you want to do is to review people's work and to let them fix their work for themselves. This way people can really learn to write better code, to better contribute to the project. It will help them feel that you care about them. I'm saying that because reviewing people's work often takes more time than just merging and fixing the code by yourself. It's an involved process, but you need to do that if you want people to stick around and if you want the community to grow. And obviously this will work best if you care about people, the sense of community, which is something that's really important to me, the connection with people. And if you are more interested in just building pure technology and you don't like to interact with others, it might be a bit harder to get lots of contributors. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about Godot. I was just mentioning it during the presentation. That's the tools that we use to do the job. The Godot game engine, because it's a really powerful 2D and 3D game engine, entirely free and open source, so you can learn from the source code. Even the lead developer, who has dozens of years of experience working in games and working as a consultant, will share everything he knows pretty much. It's a powerful tool, so we use that. The game art that, well, at least the one I make is mostly made with Krita. We're going to use a bit of Blender for 3D art, obviously, but Krita is a powerful digital painting software. Everything that has to do with painting, working with colors, and the layer stack are really good. At the time of recording, there are no free and open source alternatives that have a full non-destructive workflow with filter layers, filter masks, things that you can toggle on and off in the layer stack or clone layers, things like these. So it's really powerful. It's not only powerful, it keeps getting better year after year. So now, getting to one of the points, it's the Blender Foundation is working on these open movies. They use Blender to create the movie from A to Z and use this opportunity to test the tools, the workflows, and improve them a lot. So the funding they get is partly to make a work of art and partly to improve the program for everyone. And this is the kind of approach that we are trying to do for GDQuest. Starting with education, we want to create little games that we really polish and use them as an opportunity to improve our favorite free software. So contributing back to Godot, for example, might be Krita, might well be Blender as well. Along the way, we could offer free education to everyone, and free with a capital F, so under a copyleft license. This is what we are trying with the current Kickstarter that we are running now. I will add that everyone's welcome to work together on this journey. If you are interested, even if you don't have a lot of time, you want to improve your game dev skills, contributions and feedback are welcome in everything that we do. Even this presentation that you are watching is made in Godot. We're already working on the foundations and we will keep going from there. That said, I want to thank you kindly for listening to me. This presentation, all our projects are on GitHub, on github.com/GDQuest. Even this presentation and the presentation system is made in Godot. We are on Kickstarter right now, and at the time of recording, there are 12 days left to go. We need your help to reach some stretch goals and produce more free content for everyone in the community. You can find a link in the video description below. But that said, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I want to thank you kindly for watching. Be creative, have fun, and let's see one another in the next one, probably in a few hours. Bye-bye.